When I shook your hand, you stood straight like this and shook my hand. And when Modi ji shook your hand, you bowed down and shook his hand.
Whether this speech by Rahul Gandhi made a significant impact or was it a waste opportunity?
If you look at that from a Congress point of view, they would of course rate it as a success.
Rahul Gandhi has emerged out of that so-called Papu image which the BJP and the ruling party was trying to kind of make out of him.
Where the Prime Minister in reply repeatedly called him Balak Buddhi, So, which was essentially the Prime Minister telling that he was showing, childish exuberance.
पूरे हिंदू समाज को हिंसक कहना ये गंभीर विषय है.
The Prime Minister has done to see the opposition is not united and the Congress is singled out.
Hello, welcome to the Indian Express. I'm Charulata Biswas and I'm here to unpack what happened in the 18th Lok Sabha session. And I'm being joined by our political editors, Liz Matthew and Manoj Seji from the Indian Express, who will dissect it for us and also tell us what really happened in the parliament. We saw fiery speeches in the parliament, ruckus, and today we saw the opposition walkout of Rajya Sabha. We saw everything unfold in 2 days of parliament session. So it all started on the 24th of June, the parliament session, but the action-packed scenes unfolded after Rahul Gandhi's speech as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. In fact, his speech, some parts of his speech were also expunged where he made references to Agniveer, Hinduism, and he also referred to some industrialists. So Manoj, my question to you is that whether this speech by Rahul Gandhi made a significant impact or was it a waste opportunity?
It depends on which side we speak to, and it also depends on how we look at it. It was his first speech as the leader of the opposition, and of course he wanted it to be impactful. So he started on a very fractious note, referring to an issue which he has in the past also spoken about. He drew a distinction between Hindutva and Hinduism. In 2021, he had first enunciated this idea where he said Hinduism is an inclusive idea, whereas Hindutva, political Hindutva, which is which is an ideology which the BJP follows, is more violent. He has often accused the BJP of spreading hatred, violence, fear, and all. So he started on that, which was of course a fractious issue. Even in 2021, when he first spoke about it, there was unease within the Congress there, because many in the Congress thought it's not a path which the party should take, given that it had been suffering reverses. Reverse after reverses in elections, and BJP was on a high. But now there's a changed reality now. Although the BJP managed to form the government for the third time, its numbers have come down from 303 to 240, and the Congress's numbers have gone up from 52 to 99. So the context is slightly different. So he started on that fractious note and then moved on to issues which he and the Congress and the larger opposition had flagged during the campaign, which are issues related to governance, right from Manipur to paper leak to farmers' issues, unemployment, price rise, constitution. So he touched upon all those topics, but he started with that issue, which of course triggered that slugfest within Parliament, and it's still continuing, where the Prime Minister himself, it's very rare for the Prime Minister to stand up, and interject.
Yes.
The Prime Minister himself did that. Then half a dozen senior ministers, right from Amit Shah to Rajnath Singh to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, at various points on various issues. When it was Agniveer, Rajnath Singh stood up. When it was about farmers' issues, he made the statement that they've been called Khalistanis. When Amit Shah stood up, right. When it was on MSP and all, Shivraj Singh Chauhan stood up. So at various points. So from when you look at that from a Congress point of view, you asked about whether it was impactful or it was a waste of opportunity.
Right.
If you look at that from a Congress point of view, they would of course rate it as a success. You know, his maiden speech as the leader of the opposition, and right from the Prime Minister to the top 3 or 5 of the cabinet standing up and interrupting him and rebutting him. So of course they would say it made that impact. You know, it started with that bang. You know, even the larger opposition, they would also perhaps say the same. And there were some comments to the opposition as well, where towards the end he said, no, I'm 2 individuals now, one as a person and one as an LOP, where I would have to take care of all the opposition parties. If a Hemant Soren is in jail or an Arvind Kejriwal is in jail, it disturbs me. So he sent that message to the opposition as well. See, I may represent the Congress, but I'll be, as an LOP, leading all the opposition parties. If you look at it from the government side, where the Prime Minister in reply repeatedly called him Balak Buddhi, you know, so which was essentially the Prime Minister telling that he was showing, you know, childish exuberance. The Congress has not won, the opposition has not won. You know, at the end of the day, is the BJP just formed the government, although with reduced numbers. The Congress, in the Prime Minister's words, it was the 3rd worst defeat, you know, from 44 in 2014, 52 in 2019. They have now touched 99. They have even crossed 100. So if you look at it from the government point of view, it was, you know, the whole thing that it's a moral victory, that the Congress was, you know, they're trying to be upbeat, they're trying to be jubilant. So that's where the PM has tried to corner him, saying, see, you have not won.
Yes.
You know, we are still in power, we have formed the government.
Right.
The people have rejected you, the people have chosen us, the mandate is for us, not for you. So you will have to analyze his speech looking from, you know, both sides.
Both sides, right. Liz, coming to you, you were reporting from the Parliament and your eyes were on the Lok Sabha, and we saw Prime Minister's speech, and like Manoj said, like he cornered Prime Minister Modi, Rahul Gandhi cornered him in his speech, and Prime Minister left no stones unturned to, you know, retaliate, and he gave a rebuttal, and he said, you know, quoting him, like the Congress, like a parasite, was feeding on its allies for survival. He also accused the Congress of attempting to look down upon, abuse, insult Hinduism, and of plotting a conspiracy to falsely claim Hindus were violent. And the most important thing, Liz, that throughout his speech for 2 hours, you know, the opposition was heckling him, and there was continuous sloganeering. My question to you is, firstly, in what context did Prime Minister Modi make these remarks, and was his speech overshadowed by the opposition?
See, Prime Minister's speech was, you know, in response to 2 issues. One was what Rahul Gandhi has said. So there, the Prime Minister very strategically tried to, like, you know, start when he realized that the opposition is going to heckle him. He has started his speech, the first part of his speech, long on mostly the repetition of what he has been saying in the last few parliament speeches about the achievements of the government, what he has done and all. But when the MPs, who were the Congress MPs, were mostly in the well of the house, which is the center of the chamber, and the others, you know, the other parties like TMC and DMK and NCP, they were out of their seat and they were not in the well. The well of the new parliament is a very short one. You know, you cannot actually stand there more than like almost. So Congress has now 99 MPs, and almost all of them were there in the well of the house. So there was no space for others. So they were standing. Some DMK MPs were also in the well. Prime Minister Modi initially kind of tried to tire them out because they were shouting at the top of their voice. And when he realized that, you know, they are, you know, like, they're almost tired now. So then he started the political attack. His political attack was mostly on to what Rahul Gandhi, to Congress, you know, he was very specific. So in, you know, in what you call it, if you like surmise the, what he has done, the Prime Minister has done was he tried to do 2 things. One, to see the opposition is not united and the Congress is singled out. His attack, he did not even mention about the incident in the most controversial incident which happened in West Bengal, where the party has been up in arms against TMC in West Bengal. But he chose to speak about the past, you know, because when he comes to the Congress attack, it is mostly past. He started from Pandit Nehru to Indira Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi. He repeated most of what he has been saying against. So he tried to say that Congress is this family-oriented party, which he had said in the morning NDA meeting also, about this party is like one family-centric party. Then he kind of echoed the almost same thing in his speech. He tried to single out the Congress and single out Rahul Gandhi. Okay, so because now that Rahul Gandhi has emerged out of that so-called Papu image, which the BJP and the ruling party was trying to kind of make out of him. So it was a kind of equal, you know, attack on an equal thing, but still he did not even mention LOP or something. Instead he said Balak Buddhi, and you know, basically he was trying to say that he's not mature enough. He did not say he's not mature enough. He used the other words to kind of describe or like to say what he wanted to say. One is that, and at the same time he also I would say that the opposition's kind of, I would call it a failure of their strategy, because Rahul Gandhi's speech had kind of, it gave a very composite, like, you know, it's a compact picture of the opposition, everybody, because we have seen leaders like Kalyan Banerjee, the TMC people. Otherwise TMC and Congress has a lot of differences behind the screen, and also they sometimes come out also, even in this 18th Lok Sabha we have seen. But even then, the most, you know, the most vocal MP who was defending Rahul Gandhi's right to speak and right to put forward his points was Kalyan Banerjee of TMC and Saugature. And more than the Congress people, only Haibi Eden, the Kerala MP, once pointed out about the rules. Other than that, it is Saugature, you know, like the senior most member of the TMC, who he also came to his rescue, citing rules and, you know, the precedences in the Lok Sabha. So that unity, what Prime Minister was trying to do, that to break that. And also, you know, I have seen in this house like that jubilance, that upbeat mood of the BJP, which we have seen in the beginning of 2014 or 2019, that Modi chants, it's that vociferous support was not there for Prime Minister Modi or BJP. They were more or less a little lukewarm, and you know, they were kind of calm in there, you know, they thumbed the desk in certain points. But you know, once when they realize, even the allies, you know, for that matter, the day Rahul Gandhi spoke also, allies was quiet and they were watching him. TDP and all did not even bother to get up once to protest or something. Only a section of BJP leaders only kind of, you know, were up in arms like against Rahul Gandhi. But here, they immediately, like, you know, when they realized that Prime Minister kept on being heckled by the opposition, he's been you know, like disrupted continuously by this group of opposition MPs who kind of even lined up before him. They also joined. When the Prime Minister started the political attack on Rahul Gandhi, they also thumbed the desk. They also, like, you know, kind of cheered him. So in a way, Prime Minister Modi's speech managed to present a united face of the NDA in the house, just like what Rahul Gandhi's speech did to the opposition. And also he kind of managed to keep the BJP MPs also, like, you know, on their feet in the, like, you know, to cheer him. So that is one thing, the opposition strategy I think has gone awry of type, because I mean, instead of doing this 2.5 hours continuous disruption, if they had protested, given us a symbolic protest and walked out and come back and listened to Prime Minister and object to or oppose to what he says when he ridiculed Rahul Gandhi, they could have raised point of orders. They have other ways. Maybe they must, at least, you know, he would have managed to get some sympathy, which he could not get that. I think to an extent, Prime Minister Modi succeeded in putting his political points there.
Okay.
Effectively.
Yeah, but we did see the walkout today in Rajya Sabha when Prime Minister Modi was speaking, and where he said that, claimed that when his government proposed November 26th as Constitution Day, the Congress leader said that there was no need for it as they already have January 26th. And Kharge, you know, he sort of came back, and there was another bite, you know, they walked out, and then Kharge gave a bite outside of the parliament where he said that the truth is that the BJP, RSS and Jan Sangh and their political forefathers had fiercely opposed the Constitution of India. My question to you is that, do you think that it was unfair that the opposition was not allowed to put their point of order? Also, besides that, he spoke on Manipur and Sondesh Khali as well today. So, your thoughts?
Yes, of course, you know, in the Rajya Sabha specifically, there are a lot of complaints from the opposition that their views are not been allowed to put before the House, and most of the time there were even the leader of opposition speeches are getting expunged, you know, immediately. So, unlike in the Lok Sabha where it takes time, they get expunged immediately, instantly in the Rajya Sabha. So there is a lot of complaints from the opposition side against the way the House is being conducted. Of course, the chair has the supreme authority on it, but of course the members can have the complaint. And but to protest instead of heckling or instead of disrupting the proceedings, the opposition used a democratic way of protest. They staged a walkout. So I think that they did the right thing there. But yes, of course, the Prime Minister mentioned the two issues here, because he already managed to do what he wanted to do, the political point. Here, he had to satisfy the people who are, you know, asking, you know, why isn't he talking about it, you know, these issues. So, he kind of reacted to that also. Right. So he managed to, and also it was in the absence of the opposition. So he could say what he wanted to say. So I think the Prime Minister, as usual, of course, you know, he is not in his elements, you know, like in the past. There is, of course, there is, even if the entire ruling party tried to put up that face, you know, one thing they have to admit, even for the BJP, like in 1989, when they came back with 2 against 85, right? Yeah. 85. So that time, Advani ji said one line. Then leader of the BJP said that he was president of the BJP. He said, the winner comes second. So for Congress, although the number came, arithmetically the Congress numbers would look, but the Congress MPs had already admitted, we are coming back, that we have 400 and they got 240. So that moral upbeat thing, you know, right, like when they were like, they didn't have even the number of being identified as a leader of opposition or the opposition party, you know, from there they have become 99. Now it is 98 because Wayanad is already going for you know, the by-election. I mean, it will be going for by-election. So even then, the united face of opposition, because after 2 sessions it seems like the opposition also, other parties also have learned a lesson. We have to keep together, we have to be together, stand together, because the BJP is one, it is a third term coming back, even with a lesser number, is a big thing. Like Prime Minister Modi keeps saying, it hasn't happened in the last 3-4 decades. So it is something big, you know. So then they know that, you know, they have to keep united. So that united face of the opposition, unlike in the past, that also gives them a lot of moral strength and moral victory also.
Manoj, the moral strength that Liz is talking about and the number game, that has actually restored a balance in the parliament now. We can see that, opposition is feeling stronger than before, and we could see the same reflecting in Rahul Gandhi's speech and how, the unity that you're talking about, we can see that in the India bloc. But there was a lot of sloganeering. Modi, Prime Minister Modi was not almost, we couldn't hear him when he was speaking throughout the 2-hour speech. And today, again, we saw the opposition walk out of Rajya Sabha. Will this confrontation mode that India bloc or the opposition is in right now, will this work for a healthy functioning of parliament? Because we do understand that the government has the responsibility to make sure that the house functions. But do you think that it is as much a responsibility on opposition's end too? Your two bits.
This being the first session after elections, it seems both the parties, both the BJP and the Congress, the campaign hangover is still there because they have been campaigning for 2 months. So if you broadly analyze the speeches made by the Prime Minister and Mr. Gandhi, most of the issues that they flagged were all, flagged, discussed, threadbare during the campaign. So the topics, the style were all the same. So now it is for both sides to realize that the campaign is over. There is a government in place, although maybe with lesser numbers. There is an opposition which has, more numbers this time. Of course, they would be more aggressive, they would be more jubilant, they would be more upbeat. But given the bitterness that we have seen between the government and the opposition, and especially the Congress and the BJP over the last 10 years, I would presume this session is just a teaser, of what is in store for the next 5 years. Because opposition, of course, having, especially the Congress, having, come to the conclusion that they have scored a moral victory. They have managed to shrink the BJP. Now they have a legitimate, claim to tell the government that it is time for the government to give the space that the opposition, requires in Parliament. Their voice needs to be heard. Right or wrong, the Congress especially and most of the opposition parties believe that in the last 10 years, the opposition was not given the space in Parliament. Their voice was not heard. So with more numbers, they would expect to corner the government further and tell them more vociferously that it's time to give the opposition its due space. At the government, it's a third term. After Jawaharlal Nehru, Mr. Modi is the first Prime Minister to come back to office for the third term, and he has repeatedly said that it's a historic mandate. Although with lesser numbers, he has reframed it as an NDA government. So it's a third term. So of course, the government, the BJP believes the people have given them the mandate to rule. So, but given the bitterness, given the past between both these sides, I expect almost every parliament session to be like this, where the opposition would be aggressive, combative, and the government coming back equally harder on them. So it's somewhere for both of them to find a space in between to allow healthy debates and allow healthy functioning of Parliament. But I doubt whether it will happen in the near future.
So going by the body language of both Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi, it just doesn't look like going to be a smooth session in the coming days.
Maybe a washout.
This session also saw the opposition vociferously demanding that the deputy speaker post should be given to the opposition. The post was kept vacant from 2019 to 24. From 2014 to 2019, it was given to a friendly ally, AIDMK. So, but the session got over, and there is no word from the government on whether they will give the post to the opposition or whether they will give the post to some of the non-India bloc parties or to some of their allies. So these sort of issues will keep surfacing once the next session happens. So that lack of trust in each other, and there is little communication also between the channels of communication between the opposition and the government are very narrow now.
Once the session is ended, like Sanadaya adjourn, then usually earlier the Prime Minister would walk to the opposition side and would shake hands with the front benchers. Basically all senior leaders sit there, including LOP, leader of opposition. And in the towards the last two sessions of the 17th Lok Sabha, we could say that Prime Minister went up to, and also 14th Lok Sabha in the last session, I saw Prime Minister Modi walking up to Mallikarjun Kharge in, I'm talking about 2019, it happened. But this time, not just that, Prime Minister didn't even look at that side before even whether they waited, the opposition just walked out, before because they were all tired, they just walked out, they didn't even wait for the Prime Minister. That's why I said even that body language of the leaders from both sides is like very, very tight and tensed.
Yeah, really tight and tense, and definitely there's more to see and more to unpack, and MPs will have to get back to serious business, So thank you, Liz and Manoj, for giving us all those details and to read between the lines of what's happening, in the Parliament. We'll get back and give you all the details about what's happening in Parliament and politics. You stay tuned to the Indian Express. We'll be back soon. Thank you so much for watching.